If you're a fan of electronic music, then chances are you've heard of Odesza. Since their inception in 2012, Odesza has dropped 3 albums, an EP, 11 mixtapes, and plenty of remixes. Odesza's sound is unique. It's a blend between many genres such as house music, hip-hop, and ambient. But at their core, I think Odesza can best be described as really happy music. Odesza is a production duo made up of Harrison Mills and Clayton Knight. They both grew up in the Seattle area and met their senior year at Western Washington, where Harrison studied graphic design and Clayton studied physics. They connected right away over their music interests and started collaborating.
Like we were both into a lot of the same music, and that's kind of how we met and kind of bonded off the bat. Was like we were really into, you know, especially at the time, more eclectic electronic stuff, like big huge fans of Fortet and kind of that Boards of Canada, Animal Collective. We love those kind of, the mesh of indie and electronic worlds. You know, we're sharing music back and forth, and just met up one day and really started just kind of collaborating. We just set up our computers and kind of started bouncing ideas back and forth, and that's what kind of led to our first project. There was no real goal when it first started.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, it was always just a hobby. Like I was gonna go to grad school. I had things lined up for that. He had a design job that I was looking after. So yeah, it was always just kind of a hobby that, you know, we thought maybe we'd do a couple shows, a couple gigs.
Odesza got their name from a Caribou track named Odesza. They loved the song, but there was already a Scottish band with the name Odesza, so they added a Z to the name. The duo first surfaced in 2012 with the release of their debut album, Summer's Gone, which was recorded in the basement of Clayton's college house. The sound on this album is elegant, with catchy vocals floating above complex percussions and samples. The album gained popularity on SoundCloud, and Odesza started touring behind it. Starting out, their early shows were not glamorous. Harrison and Clayton would sleep in the back of U-Haul vans on the way to gigs, and they played shows as small as 4 people. Their hope was that by touring non-stop, they would gradually grow their fan base, and it worked. Small shows turned into larger clubs and amphitheaters, and eventually Odesza was invited to mainstream festivals like Coachella. Odesza kept recording on the road, and in 2014, Odesza released their second album, In Return. In Return champions everything I loved about the first album and delivers like a dream. I remember the first time I listened to In Return, it absolutely blew me away. Everything from the instrumentation to the vocal arrangements, Odesza's ability to layer pitches and tones and add eclectic drum beats takes their production to the next level. The LP was a massive success, and it hit #1 on Billboard's dance and electronic charts. Odesza played hundreds of sold-out shows in the 3 years following In Return's release. When it was time to make another album, they retreated to their basement in Seattle. Their third album, A Moment Apart, was released this past fall, and the LP begins with an audio clip from the 2011 film Another Earth.
You know the story of the Russian cosmonaut? So he goes up in this big spaceship, and he's got this portal window, and he's looking out of it, and he sees the curvature of the Earth for the first time. And then all of a sudden, this strange ticking begins coming out of the dashboard.
Okay, yeah.
But he can't find it. He can't stop it. keeps going. A few hours into this, begins to feel like torture. What's he gonna do? He's up in space. So Cosmonaut decides the only way to save his sanity is to fall in love with this sound.
I think the intro perfectly captures the essence of the album, with its theme being finding beauty in the chaos and sadness. Clayton and Harrison collaborated with a plethora of artists on this project, including musicians from different genres, like soul legend Leon Bridges, who is featured on my favorite track off the album, Across the Room.
Good time we had.
The album reached number 3 in the US in its first week, and it reached number 1 on Billboard's electronic and dance charts. Clayton and Harrison appeared on KEXP Radio to talk about their new album and their evolution as artists.
You've been doing this for a while, but in some ways it feels like it's been a blink of an eye. And I look at what's going on here and your amazing live shows and the production, and I think to myself, I mean, we've loved you since it was just a couple of you making music, you know, maybe in your bedrooms.
It was a basement.
Could you foresee this in your future?
I don't think anyone could have.
No, we were just college kids trying to not get real jobs for as long as we could.
I know everyone asks you this, but it's just such a question that we all want to know how that evolution has felt to you and how.
Yeah, I mean, so Summer's Gone, the first release was definitely, I mean, we were basically making music in a basement up in college, and that's just very production-oriented, a lot of instrumentals, and then, In Return was our first kind of real try at songwriting, and I think A Moment Apart is us elaborating even more in that songwriting world. The production's there and everything, but we're really exploring more of that creative space. Yeah, it's been quite a journey, and we're still figuring it out.
I feel like this newest record is us adding depth and a lot more layers to what we've done before and just trying to refine and sharpen our craft as producers and songwriters.
Harrison and Clayton have been enormously successful, obviously. I think that when you're that successful that quickly, it'd be pretty easy to get caught up in fame and status. But those two guys seem like genuinely nice, humble, laid-back people, which is pretty refreshing to see. During college, there were a few times where I fell into slumps. During those times, I would just put in my headphones and listen to Odesza on repeat. And I can honestly say that Odesza's music helped me get out of some of those slumps. Odesza's music it's uplifting but also relaxing. It's this strange juxtaposition that just works so perfectly. That's why I want to make this video. I just wanted to thank Odesza for the gift of their music.